The cold is unbearable. Snow crunches beneath heavy German boots as they stomp through the frozen courtyard. The sky above is steel gray, silent, watching. Rifle barrels glint under a pale sun. Every breath escapes in ghostly clouds. In the center of the square, a crude wooden gallows stands alone, its rope dangling like a question that's already been answered. They drag her forward. Lepa Radić, 17, bruised, but unshaken. Her coat hangs in tatters, her hands bound tight behind her back, her face streaked with dried blood. One eye nearly swollen shut from the beatings. But the other burns with something they couldn't break. The soldiers shove her roughly. But she doesn't stumble. Villagers gather, heads low, shoulders hunched, not because of the cold, but because of the weight pressing on their hearts. The commanding officer raises his hand. The crowd falls silent. "Speak. Give us your comrades, and you may walk away from this." The rope swings gently in the breeze, waiting. Her lips crack as she smiles. "I am not afraid of you. You may kill me, but others will avenge me." The soldier's jaw tightens. His gloved hand signals the hangman. Snowflakes drift lazily around them. A heartbeat. Then, the stool kicks. Her body falls, but her words hang in the air, louder than the rifle fire that brought her here. What drove this teenage girl to face death with defiance? What did the Nazis fear so much in someone so young? Her story doesn't begin here. It begins with fire, betrayal, and a choice to fight. And her choice will change everything. Yugoslavia burns. It begins with the grinding thunder of tank treads rolling over cracked village roads. German panzer columns spearhead the invasion, swift, merciless, precise. Behind them, the U-Star arrive, Croatia's brutal fascist regime. They don't come to occupy. They come to erase. They torch Orthodox churches. They round up Serbs. The rivers run red. The forests echo with the screams of the hunted. For the villagers along the Drina River, there is no front line, there is only survival. One wrong surname. One whispered accusation. One unchecked house, and a family disappears. In this storm, a teenage girl moves quietly between the trees. Her name is Lepa Radić. She does not carry a soldier's rifle yet. But her steps are steady. Her eyes do not dart. She has seen enough. Her family's communist roots run deep, fathers, uncles, cousins, already branded as enemies of the new fascist order. Their home is not a sanctuary. It is a target. But Lepa does not run. She walks straight into the storm. At 15, she joins the Yugoslav partisans, not as a figurehead, not as a child needing protection, but as a fighter. Her hands carry leaflets, smuggled across rivers. Her pockets hide revolvers destined for resistant cells. At night, she tends to the wounded by candlelight, wrapping broken limbs, pressing cloth into bullet wounds, whispering to soldiers on the edge of death. But Lepa is not content to heal. She wants to strike. In the villages where fear has silenced most, she speaks. To other girls. To young men. To anyone willing to resist. They listen. Because Lepa does not speak like she's recruiting. She speaks like she's already fighting. And soon, they join her. The mountains around Gurm become their refuge. The trees their shields. The caves are their homes. The Nazis believe they are sweeping away scattered rebels. But they are feeding a fire they cannot control. And somewhere, beneath the weight of the enemy's boots, Lepa Radić sharpens her resolve. She knows her fate is written in the footsteps of the occupiers. But she keeps moving, because the fight is just beginning. Winter, 1943. Operation Weiss. The Nazis name it with cold precision, a sweeping anti-partisan offensive designed to crush the Yugoslav resistance once and for all. Columns of German soldiers pour into the forests of western Bosnia. Behind them, machine guns, artillery, flame units. They burn villages to the ground, raze homes, and turn the mountains into kill zones. The U-Star forces, hungry for Serb blood, trail behind, ruthless, unrelenting. They don't distinguish between soldiers and civilians. Anyone not kneeling is marked for death. Lepa Radić is deep in the forest when the hammer falls. Smoke rises on the horizon. Gunfire rattles through the hills. The mission is simple, but impossible. Evacuate the wounded. Move the women and children. Escape the tightening noose. Snow crunches beneath their hurried steps as Lepa leads a scattered convoy, barefoot children, limping partisans, young mothers clutching infants. The forest should offer cover. It has always protected them. But today, the Germans are faster. Suddenly, gunfire cracks ahead. The path is blocked. Panicked screams ripple through the convoy as German patrols burst through the tree line. Bullets hiss past Lepa's head, shredding bark, spitting dirt into the air. She drops low, pushing civilians behind a crumbling stone wall. The wounded scramble for cover. Mothers shield their children with their bodies. She signals to her comrades, "Return fire." But the partisans' rifles jam, clogged with mud and frozen grease. The Germans press forward. Close. Relentless. A young fighter beside Lepa catches a bullet in the throat. His body slumps, his submachine gun slipping from his grip. Without hesitation, Lepa grabs the weapon. She rises. Rounds snap from the barrel as she lays down suppressive fire, buying precious seconds. It's not enough. The Germans fan out, encircling them. From the east, a second patrol slams into their flank. From the west, a machine gun nest cuts off the retreat. The civilians scream. Some run. Others freeze. Lepa shouts orders. "Go! Take the path by the river! Move!" But her voice is drowned out by the roar of approaching tanks. A sharp crack, a German officer's sidearm. The shot slams into Lepa's shoulder, spinning her to the ground. Her world tilts. Her breath comes in ragged gasps. Boots stomp toward her. Rough hands seize her arms, dragging her up. The cold steel of shackles clamps around her wrists. Captured. The civilians scatter into the trees. Some escape. Some don't. The Germans pull Lepa to her feet. Blood drips steadily into the snow, painting a trail as they drag her toward their temporary command post. But she does not plead. She does not beg. Her mission was never to survive. It was to resist. And as they march her toward captivity, the war inside her is still raging. The interrogation room stinks of oil, sweat, and burning paper. Lepa's arms are tied behind the wooden chair. Her coat is gone. Her bandages have bled through. The skin around her wrists is raw from struggling. A Nazi officer leans in close. His voice is smooth, too smooth, as if he's offering her tea instead of death. "Names. Give me names. Where are the partisans hiding?" She says nothing. Her lips are cracked, her breath shallow, but her eyes, unchanged, still defiant. The officer's patience evaporates. The beatings begin. Boots. Rifle butts. Bare fists. Her ribs crunch under the blows. Blood spits from her mouth onto the dirt floor. Still, nothing. They starve her. They leave her in the cold. They bring other prisoners past her cell, some dead, some begging. The message is clear: speak or die here, alone, forgotten. But the harder they press, the quieter she becomes. When they try again, "Tell us." Her voice is a whisper, but it cuts through them. "You can kill me. Others will carry on." The officer's fist slams into the wall beside her head. Days pass. They parade her through the streets, a battered girl on display, as if humiliation will loosen her tongue. But each villager who sees her does not see defeat. They see someone who did not break. And that terrifies the Germans more than her silence. Behind the walls, the partisans regroup. The German command realizes their window is closing. Rumors spread, a partisan counterattack is building. Supply lines are faltering. The forest is not theirs. They grow desperate. The officer offers a final deal. "Names, and you walk free. There is still a life for you after this." Lepa's reply is not a scream. It is not even angry. It is steady. Cold. "My comrades are not criminals. They will come for you." The officer's hand trembles. He knows. She knows. Her death won't stop the fire, it will feed it. A decision is made. They will hang her. Publicly. Immediately. The rope is prepared. The gallows wait in the courtyard. But even as they drag her toward her execution, Lepa Radić walks with her back straight. Because the fight inside her. Never surrender. The town square erupts in a blur of shouted orders, stomping boots, and the low drone of distant artillery. Lepa Radić is dragged toward the gallows. The wooden frame towers above her like the skeleton of a dying tree. The rope dangles, tight, ready. German soldiers bark at the villagers, forcing them into the square. Mothers clutch their children. Old men lower their heads. Some dare to look up, but their eyes quickly fall. The air is sharp with cold, but no one shivers. Everyone feels the weight of what's about to happen. But just beyond the town, deep in the forest, The partisans move. Word of Lepa's capture has reached them. A band of young fighters, some of them barely older than her, prepare a reckless, desperate counterattack. They do not have enough men. They do not have enough ammunition. But they have something else, fury. While the Nazis prepare their stage, the partisans charge through the snow, weapons clutched tight, breath burning in their lungs. Their leader, Vukovic, knows the plan is madness. But he also knows what Lepa meant to them. The woman who rallied the young. The girl who faced down rifles with nothing but conviction. They cannot leave her hanging in the square, alone. Bullets rattle from the tree line. German sentries scramble. Contact! Contact! Suddenly, without warning, the streets explode into gunfire. The partisans burst from alleyways, from behind ruined carts, from the shadows of the chapel walls. Grenades arc through the air. Smoke blooms like black flowers across the cobblestones. The townspeople scatter, ducking behind barrels and market stalls. German soldiers scramble to form defensive lines, but the attack is chaotic, disorganized, unpredictable. Vukovic's squad punches straight toward the gallows, laying down covering fire. But the Germans are fast. The officer orders the executioner. Now! Hang her! Now! Lepa stands tall. Her breathing slows. The rope tightens around her neck. The executioner's boot swings for the stool. But just before it tips, a partisan sniper, perched in the bell tower, fires. The shot slices through the air, striking the rope, snapping it. Lepa collapses to the ground, gasping, alive, but not safe. Bullets hiss past her head as her comrades close in. Vukovic's voice tears through the smoke. Lepa! Run! Get to the north alley. She staggers to her feet, blood pounding in her ears. But the Germans really quickly. They unleash a storm of suppressing fire. Partisan fighters fall, one by one. The snow turns dark. Vukovic takes a round to the gut. He sinks to his knees but keeps firing. Lepa reaches for a fallen pistol, its handle still warm. She returns fire, driving the Germans back just enough to break the encirclement. But time is running out. The escape route is narrowing. Ammunition is low. And the Germans are bringing in reinforcements. Every second now costs a life. Lepa knows what comes next. The fight is not over. But the noose still waits. The square is drowning in smoke. Gunfire echoes through the streets, sharp and desperate. Shouts blur into screams. The ground is slick with melted snow and blood. Lepa stumbles forward, breath ragged, clutching the pistol with trembling hands. Her legs threaten to collapse beneath her. The world tilts, but her purpose holds. She can see it. The northern alley. The last way out. Only 30 meters. But the Germans know it too. Block the passage. Stop them. A machine gun nest slams into position, stitching bullets across the stone walls. Vukovic, gut-shot but still moving, crawls behind a broken cart. His voice breaks through the noise. Go, Lepa. Run. Now. But she doesn't run. She sees them. 3 young partisans pinned behind crates. They can't move. The machine gun will cut them down if they try. Her path is open. Escape is right there. But she doesn't take it. She makes a decision. Without warning. She charges. She fires in short, furious bursts, driving at the machine gun nest head-on. The Germans reel back under the shock of her assault. Move, she screams to her comrades. Move. The pinned fighters scramble toward the alley, sprinting for their lives. Lepa presses forward, bullets snapping past her, slamming into crates, ricocheting off stone. The machine gunner swings his barrel toward her. One final squeeze of the trigger. The shot punches through her chest. She crumples to the ground, hard, the pistol clattering from her hand. Silence. The surviving partisans don't stop. They flee into the forest, carrying her name with them. Vukovic watches from a distance, his breath heavy, his body failing. He knows what she's done. She bought them those precious seconds. And he knows. She never intended to escape. The Germans slowly approach her body, weapons still trained, as if she might rise again. A Nazi officer kneels beside her, fury twisting his face. But all he finds is her defiance frozen in place. The girl who would not kneel. The girl who chose sacrifice over silence. The girl who, even in death, escaped their control. The battle dies. Smoke lingers like a ghost. The snow, once white, is now stained black and red. German boots crunch through the rubble, but they are no longer hunting. The partisans have vanished into the trees, carrying Lepa's story with them. The rope still swings above the empty gallows. A bitter symbol now, a punishment they could not finish. The officer stares at Lepa's body, his jaw clenched tight, but it's over. Whatever power he thought he had, he lost it the moment she refused to kneel. He orders her body displayed as a warning. But it has the opposite effect. Villagers pass by in silence. They do not look away. They remember. In the forests, word spreads like wildfire. The girl who spat in the face of death. The girl who faced torture, humiliation, and a loaded gallows, and never broke. The girl who spent her final breath buying time for others. Her name ripples across Yugoslavia, across borders, across generations. Lepa Radić. Not a soldier. Not a commander. Just a 17-year-old girl who made a choice. And in the end, the Germans could not kill what she left behind. Her story is carved into the stones of the villages. Whispered among the partisans. Etched in the memories of the liberated. When the war ends, she does not fade. The Yugoslav government names her a people's hero. Statues rise. Schools near her name. But more than the medals, more than the monuments. It's her final words that remain. I am not afraid. My comrades will continue the fight. And they did. Because courage is contagious. Because sometimes, the loudest victories come from those who never get to see them. The rope that was meant to silence her became the thread that bound a movement. And even now, long after the guns have gone quiet, Lepa Radić stands. Not on a battlefield, but in the unshakable memory of resistance. History is written by those who remember. Like, share, and subscribe to carry their voices forward.